So again, everything we talked about now happened because we were reading their own documents. Everything we discussed is now unfolding. And so our credibility is rising. Your credibility is rising. People that laughed at you 5, 10 years ago, they're not going to laugh now. Look at our unprecedented success that we've had with Ron Paul and G. Edward Griffin and myself and so many of you out there. I mean, I was talking to folks that were bringing speakers here in the early 1990s, covering these topics here in Orlando, and talking to crowds of, 100 people. And now look, we're talking to 1,100. We could have probably got a bigger venue and done some advertising and had 3,000. The point is that we're growing exponentially, and they can't shut all of us down. And as more people within the system begin to awaken, as more people realize they don't have a stake. There are a lot of sociopaths and corrupt people that serve the system because they think they've gotten on the bandwagon with the winning team. They're starting to figure out the New World Order doesn't have a place for them at the table. They're starting to figure out they got conned. They're starting to figure out, wow, all this is true. They're not just going along with some good old boys and some corruption. They're going along with something really evil that's going to destroy their future and their children's future, and they're getting reality real fast. And if you think people are starting to wake up now, just wait. If the New World Order doesn't get backed off and starts going into the next phase, there's a reason they're setting up secret police and intimidation and saying, yeah, we'll arrest citizens. We'll secretly drag you off into a black hole. We'll execute you secretly, trying to scare those of us that are awake, because they're scared. They're all going to go to prison that run this system if we take America back and kick these criminals out. So the private Federal Reserve is now sitting there. They can't, even the establishment mouthpieces admit it's private now. Well, it is private, but they know how to run things better. And they know how to give themselves trillions of your tax money and then loan it back to you at 30% and tell you how lucky you are. These are good guys. They're nice people. You see, every day they're more revealed. Every day you wake somebody up. You warn somebody. You pass on a DVD. You call into talk radio. You call into C-SPAN. Every day is another little cut. The New World Order is bleeding out in front of all of us, and we're getting stronger by the minute. The fight between good and evil, between right and wrong, is always going back and forth. People say, yeah, we had a victory, but they just came right back with the legislation again. That's right. That's the nature of life. You got your kids to do the homework that night, but they wouldn't do it the next day. It was, you had to drive through traffic and go to work and bust your butt and do all this, and it was tough. You had to do it again and again and again. That's what life is. And in a fight for freedom, in a fight against a bunch of control freaks that want to run your life because they love it, you're going to have to fight them every day. You're going to have to fight them really hard, because for a long time, a bunch of people thought, well, America's perfect. America, we don't have to worry about stuff here. History doesn't repeat itself here. Let's all just go to sleep. And now we've been usurped. We've been taken over. And it's time to clean house. I mean, every time I talk about one solution, I think about all of the other successes we've had. The good report I can give you. Because for as bad as things are, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So look at the End the Fed movement. Look at Ron Paul overall. He was not a front runner 4 years ago. I would not come on air 4 years ago and look at all the polls, the numbers, the elections, and say that he was ever even in third place. Ron Paul has been in first place the entire time. And I've gone over the data long before the media is forced to report it. Iowa, Maine, South Carolina, Nevada, all stolen in front of everybody. 2 states have suspended the election. But we're not going to say what we do now that we admit it's a fraud and Ron Paul really won. But Romney and Santorum are still the winners. But just don't worry, yes, we didn't count these counties Ron Paul won. Yes, but just forget about it. Forget about it. That's what they say. Just move along. So you're like, but wait a minute, Ron Paul's really in first place? Ron Paul won all the straw polls, exit polls show he's winning everywhere. That's terrible. He's in first place, but they stole it from him. First, he runs 4 years ago and educates people, creates a cadre of larger group awake to the private Federal Reserve globalist crime takeover. He runs 4 years later, becomes the front runner, is the real winner, would be our president in every Gallup poll, destroys Obama better than anybody. And they're going to probably steal the election from him. But we've gone from him not being front runner to the real front runner, and now they got to steal it in front of everybody. How big of an educational experience is that going to be? You see, resistance is victory. Every time we get in the ring, even if they cheat and win, everybody's watching. Everybody's getting wise by getting in the arena, by going into that rigged game in a boxing match where they got 2 tire irons in their hands, beating us in the head, and we're almost beating them. Everybody's rooting for us. People ask, why haven't they killed Alex Jones? They've tried to kill my name. They've tried to destroy my credibility. They've tried to do it all, but the system knows they kill people like me or Ron Paul. It underlines, it highlights, it exclamation points everything we've said. And they still might do it, or some nut could. But whatever the case is, I love life so much that it isn't even in the equation, because I'm totally committed to beating these people, because they've got to be beaten. The truth is, all this worldly, empty scum is weak and scared. These people are so weak, these globalists, these sellouts, the minions of this system, that they are totally obsessed with how they look, what people think about them, with fake status. They get off on it. They are living an illusion. They are the most vapid, unhappy people ever. And as we in the liberty movement gain steam, more and more of them are going to basically defect. And that's our problem. The emperor does not have any clothes. Because then they'll try to get us to compromise. We cannot compromise with corruption and despotism. That is what has gotten us to this point. Continuing with solutions. I've got almost a paragraph down here. Then I'll race to the rest of it later. Look at how 15 years ago or so, you couldn't find organic food anywhere unless it was some hole-in-the-wall health food store. Now, all the major grocery stores are trying to imitate the big mega Whole Foods places. And they're trying to come in and actually adulterate and infiltrate that. And people are like, well, we demanded organic, so they changed the guidelines so they could feed us GMO. Exactly. We start winning on that front, they counterattack. We fight back. They counterattack. We fight back. We're pushing them back. On the victim disarmament front of the Second Amendment, on every issue, the numbers show we are turning the tide, and the system is panicking, and that's why they're so dangerous right now. They are so freaked out that all the trendies and people are waking up and buying firearms. I got to tell you, every liberal I've known, so-called liberal, is becoming a real liberal. Because a real liberal is like Thomas Jefferson, wants freedom, wants the Second Amendment, wants property rights, wants individual freedom, make your own choices, let others live like they want to live. And what's happening is liberals are discovering real classical liberalism. And conservatives are discovering classical liberalism, and they're discovering that they've been given a fake tyrannical version. I love these talk show hosts who I hear national hosts are saying, I heard this week, get rid of posse comitatus, get rid of habeas corpus, arrest anyone who's against an Iran attack, get rid of the Bill of Rights, that will protect us. I mean, I'm hearing just absolute tyranny because they're freaking out. I hear these talk show hosts who write books about liberty and defending the Constitution, and then they call for arresting people that disagree with war. Again, liberty is so popular that these globalists are now trying to talk and speak like us, at least on the surface, which is another major sign of our victory.